This channel is not a reaction channel. It's not a drama channel. But when things like what's going on with Styxhexenhammer, Tarl Warwick, when they come up to fold, it sort of lends a lesson to be learned, a cautionary tale, if you will. If you sort of fly too close to the sun, you know, you're gonna get burned. Just ask Kid Icarus, apparently, if that's who got burned. Anyways, the point being is that while, again, not a drama channel, I don't want to make this about, you know, what he's going through right now. It is a tale that needs to be told, where you have to be, especially men out there. This is for you. For women out there, you don't need to be in this. You can turn off and not listen or comment. If you comment, I don't care. Dealing with modern women, modern day women, if you will, is a double-edged sword. While it can be fun, it may bite you straight in the fourth point of contact if things go not the way you want. And this is what I even tell my own son these days, is you gotta be extra careful, especially, you know, because one of the things that if things go wrong, they can take your freedom away. Freedom is extremely valuable. And when your freedom is gone, you sort of, that's this one thing that the police and the government will take away from you. And having said that, it honestly does, when Styx, he did a video, like a 40-second video, he says he's going back to New Orleans for the trial. And he didn't sound very confident, if you will. He said, if things, you know, go wrong, I'm gonna be gone, which means he's gonna be in jail or prison for a while, depending on, you know, first offense. And even though it's a first offense, it has to deal with a woman, apparently, as far as I know. And it may not go well because the courts will bury men, regardless if they're hapless, if they're not really involved in it, if they were just a victim of circumstance, if there's any sort of hint, a tinge of violence, you're going down. And maybe that's not right, but that's how it goes. And yeah, so having said that, just a cautionary tale. There's plenty of videos out there saying, don't mess with the modern women, and you probably shouldn't at face value. But if you do, because you're men, we're men out there, and if you swing on the women's side of the fence, if you will, or the women's side of the plate, you kind of like women and you kind of want to be around them. But sometimes that juice isn't worth the squeeze. Now, I've been married for over 23 years, and luckily, I haven't had police called to the Laszlo, the instigator homestead, because, you know, there could have been times, you know, we've gotten into some tiffs, if you will, but for the most part, we worked it out. You know, I would leave or she would leave, but for the most part, you know, someone's got to stay because the kid was there. We can just both leave the house. But again, not delving too far into my history world, but you have to be extra special careful. For one thing, and I don't know, again, don't know what happened, his whole thing. You could read his charges online, but don't be under the influence of drugs, alcohol, or have a cordless hole puncher with you at the time. You just don't do it. And especially you don't want to be in a city such as New Orleans or in a small town, if you will, even really anywhere, to be honest, where the police can just arrest you just because maybe not even think, maybe someone got it wrong and the police show up at your door and you do something stupid like open the door to the police. But even then, they have exigent circumstances if there's some sort of threat or hint of violence of any kind, especially domestically. You're going to go to, men are going to go to either, at best, you're just going to leave for a couple days. At worst, you're going to go to jail Regardless of if there's nothing broken, you're just gonna leave, either in the back of a police car or on your own accord. Most of the time, it's your own police car, and you have to be extra specially careful in today's modern world dealing with women. And if you're a person with a high or a bad temper or quick to overreact at things, you probably shouldn't be around them, if you will, because things could just blow up out of the blue, and then let's say you're not even mad, and all of a sudden, you're in the back of a police car, staring down the barrel of charges. But yeah, the whole thing is it's not good. And a lot of us out there, who have listened to this guy for better part of 8 to 10 years, and seeing some guy like that, get roped up into things, and whether he's at fault or not, it's not really the issue. Is that you out there, men, especially young men, should know better. And again, if you've got a bad temper, or you drink excessively, you probably shouldn't be involved with the opposite sex. Those two things are just a powder keg waiting to just go up, and then you lose your freedom. You got charges on your back. You may lose your job. Your home goes away. Let's say you've got kids from a previous relationship. Those kids can, end up going somewhere. No, it's not good. So I'm not saying, like some of these other ding-dongs out there say, you never mess with a woman. Don't just stay. They may have a point that maybe you shouldn't mess with any women unless you're completely 100% responsible with your own actions, and you're especially smart. You're streetwise. You're like, okay, I get ticked off in certain things. This is a triggering event. Maybe I should just not be around women, and maybe I should fix myself before I add a powder keg to your life. Again, having a woman around is pretty cool. It is. But if you can't handle it, you probably shouldn't. That's just my take. And again, I'm not a drama channel. I hope the best for him, but if he's guilty, he should go. But, I've heard stories of many a times when I was in the military for 20 years of guys, they're, mild-mannered, and all of a sudden, they're not at work for a few weeks. You're like, hey, what happened to Private Snuffy? Oh God, he, his wife called the cops on him, and he's in the pokey for a while. Then sometimes he may come back, and you're like, hey, what happened to Private Snuffy? He may be PV1 Snuffy when he's a PFC. He's like, oh, the wife, blah blah blah, getting a divorce, and she started hitting the bottle, hitting the sauce, and then all of a sudden, I'm in jail because, she put her hand through a window, and then she blamed me for it, and yada, yada, yada. Woohoo! I'm hosed. But yeah. So let Styxhexenhammer666 and whatever's happening to him be a clarion call to men out there all throughout the United States and even in the world, that if you do engage women and you're not smart enough to handle, their insanity, or if you're not smart enough to handle their how they act, how they, sometimes overreact, underreact, they're quick to call the cops, you better have a video, audio recording, and you better have a court stenographer around you, because if and when it does, explode into your face, you can go to court and say, I have all these documents. I wasn't involved. You see, here's what she did. She punched the window. She did this. She did that. Because if you don't have that, they don't take the side of men for the most part. And I'm telling you out there, let this be a case for you out there, for men, even men who've been married 50 years. Record everything. Just like when you record a traffic stop, record the traffic stop and record every interaction with a woman that may be going out of her damn mind, because it'll save you and your freedom in the long run.